Recording's in progress. Cool. Okay, so what we've been doing for pretty much every Wednesday for the most part for the last 13 weeks, missed a couple weeks because I was out a couple weeks, is we've been going through the Mike Ferry 21-point sales system and then tackling each point, going over each one, giving a couple thoughts, a couple of ideas on what they mean and how important they are to your business. So we've gone through steps 1 through 13. So today we're doing step 14, which is business planning. So kind of works out a little bit that we're doing the business planning portion of the Mike Ferry sales system at the end of the year, because I'm sure some of you have either started doing your business plans for 2022, even though Neil strongly votes against that, or you're thinking about it, or you're at least going to be getting started, because as I said, Neil's going to be doing his business planning workshop in 2 weeks, Tuesday the 4th. So it's good that we're probably closing the year. Well, there's still a class next week, but almost closing the year on the business planning portion of the Mike Ferry sales system. So pretty good. So let me, before I get started on that, I just had made the comment that, Neil doesn't like it if you work on your business plan prior to the end of the year. Now, those of you that have been around Neil for a while know this. The reason he doesn't like that, for those of you that are thinking, well, I'm gonna do my business plan today, tomorrow for 2022, is that as soon as you start thinking about 2022, you forget about the rest of 2021. So that's always been the mentality. People go, well, I want to think about my next year business plan, because it's December. That means you've given up on the rest of the year. Now, I understand there's only 9 days left to go in the year, and there's a couple holidays, but there's still opportunity. So that's always run through the finish line, not worried about 2022. And then the first week of 2022, we'll put together the business plan. That's kind of the concept. The other thought you have to think about this is, how will you know exactly what your 2022 would look like if you don't know how many extra leads or deals you might have to start the year? So I'll give you an example. Between now and the end of the year, is it possible for you to get a lead that turns into a listing appointment? Is that possible to happen between now and the end of the year? Yes? Tyrone says yes. All right. Tyrone and I are just having a conversation. So if that's possible to be able to get a lead today and have a listing set by the end of the year, that means you're starting the year with a new listing already ready to go in place. So therefore you already start to think about, well, look, I'm already starting the year with 1 listing, maybe 2 listings. Maybe I have a buyer that I'm already showing property to, or I have a buyer that's already in escrow, because I got a buyer today, they were approved. I went and showed them property this weekend and we got an escrow. So now you get to look at your 2022 goals differently because you worked all the way through the end of the year. You might have some solid leads, listings, buyers, so forth, all that good stuff. So that's kind of why we always talk about not doing the business plan too early before the end of the year. So just kind of keep in mind. Okay, so let's jump into the rest of the stuff. So again, business planning. Some of this stuff you've heard before, or if you've been to any number of Mike Ferry webinars, you've definitely heard, or seminars. You don't do webinars no more. You've heard this stuff before. So for some of you, this might just be a good reminder. For some of you, maybe you've never heard this, and this will be some good information. Either way, we're just looking for 1 or 2 points that might help you with your business planning as we get towards that portion of the year. All right, so the first thing I wrote down here, a business plan is a working document. A business plan is a working document that outlines what you have done, where you are going, and the steps required to get there. Basic Mike Ferry definition of a business plan. A business plan is a working document that outlines what you have done, where you're going, and the steps required to get there. It doesn't need to be a thesis on what a business plan is. Very simple stuff. Okay. As stated, your business plan is a working document that can change monthly and quarterly. Review it in depth on a basis and adjust when necessary. Your business plan is a working document that can change monthly and quarterly. Review it in depth on a regular basis and adjust it when necessary. So, a couple things on that point. Don't raise your hand because I don't want anyone to put themselves on blast here. But who did a business plan in January and didn't look at it after that? Don't raise your hand. Just think about it. Okay. You did the business plan in January. You put it in the drawer. Never saw it ever again. Right? Or maybe you stuck with it for the first 3 months, first quarter. By the second quarter, you didn't know where the business plan was anymore. You don't even know what the goals were. You didn't know what the numbers were. It's a working document that you need to be reviewing on a regular basis. You have to keep that in front of you. Now, I want to touch a moment here on the working document that can change monthly or quarterly. Change monthly or quarterly your business plan only to make it higher. Here's what I mean. You set the goal and you want to do 10 transactions, okay, for the year, whatever your number may be. 10 is just a nice round number. You set the goal and you say, I want to do 10 transactions. And after the first quarter, you've already closed 4. Oh, first quarter, I've already 4 a quarter is 16. That's past the 10. Maybe I should adjust my business plan up and go for 12, go for 15. Okay, so you have more to shoot for. What you don't want to do is your goal is 10. After the first quarter, you have 0 and you go, well, I should probably reduce my goal to 5. Don't do that. That's not what we're talking about adjusting the goal, okay? Because what you can still accomplish the 10. After the first quarter, we give up so much. We say, oh my gosh, I'm way off track, so I'm never going to hit my goal. There's 3 quarters to go. Don't reduce the goal just yet. Now, this only works if you set a realistic goal to begin with. So give you an example. You did 2 transactions in 2021 and your goal for 2022 is 36. I'm not saying you can't get 36, but I don't know many people that have gone from 2 to 36 from one year to the next. So then what happens is that then after the first quarter, you've closed 0 and you're going, oh, my goal was 36. Should I adjust it down? Well, realistically, it should have been 36 to begin with. So we have to kind of readjust the business plan at the start. So you have to be realistic with it, but don't adjust the plan down. Only adjust it up. That's what we mean by it's a document that can be changed monthly and quarterly, unless the only time you can adjust it down is if the life event happens. We've had life events. Okay, with COVID and all these other different issues, there's people that, have passed away. There's people that have gotten sick. There's all these other different things. When a life event happens that keeps you away from work, then it's like, okay, I should probably adjust it down because realistically, I'm not going to be working for the next 3 months. I'm not going to hit my goals. Okay, when a life event happens, then that makes sense. Outside of a life event, don't adjust it down. Figure out how you could still reach your goals, okay? But you have to review it in depth on a regular basis and adjust it when necessary. I wrote down here the next point. We must make a strong commitment to both business and personal growth at the rate of 20% per year. We must make a strong commitment to both business and personal growth at the rate of 20% per year. This will cause your income to double every 3 or 4 years. 20% more. Now, you might get higher, you might go 40, you might go 50. But if you keep in the mind of, I get increase 20% per year. Now, here would be my challenge. Increase the number of units 20% per year. Why units? Why focus on the units? Why do you think Mike, Neil, myself, why do you think when we say grow 20%, we think it's better to focus on growing the units 20%?
Because the prices change every now and then.
There it is. Because you have no control over the prices. And so one of the biggest lies that happens in terms of our quote unquote improvement is, well, my total volume's up. Therefore, I've gotten better. I've increased my business. You didn't do anything with prices. So for some people, they closed, 10 deals in 2020 for, $5 million worth of volume. And then they closed 8 deals in 2021, but it was for $6 million in volume. And they're going, well, I made more money in 2021. I'm clearly a better real estate agent. Well, no, you actually did less transactions. It's just the values went up. What happens if the values flatten? What happens if they go down? Focus more on the 20% on units because the volume will be there no matter what. Now, I do think that there is something to be said of, I'm trying to increase my price point. So working different neighborhoods, that's a different story. But focus on the 20% unit growth, just as Tess said. Okay. Good job. It's just, it happens to us, and we're all guilty of it, myself included. We look at the numbers and we think, oh my gosh, look how much better I am. And so it's just a lie sometimes we tell ourselves because it was just the prices went up. All right, I wrote down here next, as your business grows and your business maturity increases, as your business grows and your business maturity increases, add a profit and loss statement to your business plan. This is a really key thing as your business really grows. Okay. And as you start to think more of an entrepreneur, add a profit and loss statement to your business. Now, I always joke that agents only work on a profit statement. They never do the profit and loss. Here's what I mean. Well, Robert, I finally closed that deal. I made $10,000 on that deal that you told me to give up on 6 months ago. Okay. How much time, energy, and did that deal cost you? Oh, I don't know. I just know I made $10,000. Okay. Robert, I finally got a deal from my mailers. You told me to stop doing those mailers, and I finally got a deal. All right. And it was $15,000. So I made $15,000 on those mailers. How long have you been mailing? 3 years, once a month. Okay. So you've spent $6,000 on mailers. Yeah. Okay. So you didn't make $15,000. You still ended up with a profit, but you have to run a profit and loss statement to understand the real value of that. Okay. So when you're looking at your business plan, look at your marketing pieces. For some people, the mailers are a big profit. So you continue it. Your business. And if you start to realize, I've been mailing, I really want to get in this farm, and I've been mailing to them once a month, 1,000 people a month. It's $1,000 a month, $12,000 a year. I've been doing it for 4 years. I've spent 50 grand. I don't have a deal to show for it. You're not running an efficient profit and loss business. You have to cut that out. Now, and I'm just using mailers as an example, but anything that you're paying for. Okay. Now, is paying for something only in money? Do you only run profit and loss on money? No. No. Because your time, effort, and energy needs to be calculated in the profit and loss. Here's what I mean. Jason Penrose. Yes, Jason Penrose talked about this one time. You work with a difficult client and you finally get them closed after 6 months. How many deals did you lose because you spent so much time, effort, and energy on that one deal in the last 6 months? So you have to look at things also from that perspective. Now, this is a more in-depth thing. I do a class on that with January about really the cost of certain things, understanding your hourly rate and stuff like that. We'll get more into that. But you need to be able to run a profit and loss statement, whether it be anything that's, well, I'm doing mailers, I'm paying for ads, I'm paying for leads, run a profit and loss, figure it out. The biggest thing we run into a problem as in real estate is we make so much money per deal that we think, well, gosh, all I need is one deal to justify the cost. And that's true in some cases, but you have to look at other options. Let me give you an example. Years ago, when I was actively selling, I was in a BNI group, BNI. Some of you might know what BNI is. It's a networking group. They think there's also a company called, there's another one called Team, so on and so forth. It's a networking group. You meet like once a week with other business professionals. The goal of the group is to pass referrals amongst each other and stuff like that. And there can only be one person in each profession for the group, one real estate agent, one mortgage person, one computer person, so on and so forth, right? Now, some people belong to these groups and they get a ton of money and a ton of referrals from them. So I joined this group. We met every Wednesday at lunch at El Torito, and it was an hour and a half. And, you know, that was the gig. Now, as you can imagine, being an expressive and a pretty open guy, I was very involved with the group. I mean, I met with people, I was, you know, networking, I was doing all these different things. Now, you pay to join the group. It's a BNI, it's a global company, so you pay to join. And then you pay for the lunch, which was, you know, $15 for the lunch. You know, that was their special. And then it's an hour and a half, the meeting. And then 15 minutes, it was from my office, was 15 minutes each way. So it's 2 hours total, right? So the group was fun. It was neat. There was cool people and all these other different things. But then I started to look one day, 6 months later, I realized I didn't have one lead. Forget a closing. I didn't have one lead from this group. And then I started looking at the money. Well, I paid this much to get in, and let's see, 6 months was, you know, 30 lunches or whatever that was. Well, 30 lunches at $15 a pop. Okay, well, there's $450 right there, plus the $600 I paid to get in. There's $1,000 right there. I'm talking 2 hours for, you know, 30 meetings. That's 60 hours worth of time, effort, and energy. I could have been doing something else. I am hitting a major loss on this group. So I got out. But it was only because I started tracking the numbers on it. So you have to run an effective profit and loss statement, okay, to really look at your business plans correctly. All right, I wrote down here next, as part of your planning, make it a priority. As part of your planning, make it a priority to input and review your numbers every week. As part of your planning, make it a priority to input and review your numbers every week. The great agents know their numbers. Not Hal Swayze, Neil Weichel. When Neil Schwartz interviewed Neil Weichel, you can go back and watch this interview. He said, Neil told to Neil Weichel, you know, what do you think your numbers are in terms of ratios, ballpark? And Neil Weichel instantly said, well, I always know my numbers. And I'll tell you right now, and he gave the specific number. He didn't give a roundabout or anything like that. He knows his numbers. The greats know their numbers. Make it a priority to input and review your numbers every week. And be honest. Okay. Now, next week, we're going to talk about tracking your numbers. So we'll talk more about that point next week. Okay. I wrote down here next, have at least 3 accountability partners that you can share your business plan with, work to keep you on track. Now, the number here is 3, but if you have 1 or 2 good accountability partners, that will be fine too. The reason we typically say 3 is because you usually have if you have 3 accountability partners, 1 or 2 of them are usually not very good. Okay, that's the reality of it. All right, you have You have 3 accountability partners. One of them is hoping that you don't give them your accountability because that means they have to give you theirs and they don't want to. And then the second one is usually, hey, did you hit your numbers? No. And they go, oh, it's okay. You'll get them tomorrow. The motherly accountability partner, right? And then usually the third one is like, well, why didn't you hit your numbers? So if you can find 1 or 2 good accountability partners, that's fine. But we say 3, that's why, okay? Share your plan with who will work to keep you on track. John Maxwell, one of my favorite quotes, goals that are not made public are useless. Goals that are not made public are useless. Don't do your business plan and then no one gets to see it. I'm locking it in the vault, changing the combination every day so no one can hack it. All right? It's my plan. That's it. Share it with, at least share it with your coach, but don't just share it with your coach because your coach is going to coach you on it. The coach is not always necessarily a daily accountability partner. We do that sometimes, but share it with other people. Okay. Wrote down here next for business planning, spend time thinking about what you want from your business. Spend time thinking about what you want from your business. Your plan will have what you want and helps you accomplish both personal and business goals. So this is kind of an interesting, thought here. Spend time thinking about what you want from your business. Because if we're being direct, typically, what's the initial answer of what we want from our business? It's money. Well, what do you want from your business? Well, I want money. I don't need friends. I don't need a place to go. I certainly don't need to listen to Robert every day. Okay. I need money. You have to dig deeper. This is why I say spend time thinking about what you want from your business, because you won't do it just for the money. I don't care who you are. You won't do it. You won't do it just for the money. What do you want from your business? Well, I want money to do X. What do you really want from your business? I want to create financial freedom. Okay. How do you do that? Well, I have to make money. And then I'm going to do that. I have this much debt that I need to pay off. And I'm going to pay that off. And then to have financial freedom, I need to be able to have this much in the bank so I feel comfortable that if something goes wrong, I have some money to pay for it. I need financial freedom, because I still have the student loan debt, either for myself or for my kids or whoever I signed on the loans for, whatever it is. Okay, financial freedom. Well, what do you want from your business? I want the freedom to be able to take off whenever I want and go on these really great vacations. Okay. Well, real estate allows you the ability to take off whenever you want, but in order to get the really great vacations, that's why you need to put in the work to get the money to go do these types of things. Okay. One of my favorite thoughts of all time is this. Okay. And even if you've written this down before, write it down again. If you don't know what you're going to exchange the money for, you're not going to do the work, because prospecting sucks. Raise your hand or put a 1 in the chat box if you didn't need money, if you would still get up and call Just Listed, Just Solds every day. Gustavo, even if you didn't need the money, you'd still get up and call Just Listed, Just Solds?
Yeah, because we enjoy talking to people.
Yeah.
What are you going to do when you have money?
Yeah.
Seem to go away. You don't know who your real friends are. They only go to you when you have money.
That's true. Yeah, well, you know what? I'm okay with that. You don't know some of your friends are only friends because you have money. That's okay because I have money.
Remember what remember what Mike says? When you're a top producer most of the time, you're the top and it's lonely up there.
Yeah, it's lonely at the top. Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
That's what Mike says.
Yeah, 100%. So no one raised their hand and understand the question. No one put anything in the chat box, because the reality is, if you didn't need the money, you wouldn't get up in the morning and go call Just Listen, Just Sold. You'd do something else with your life. You do it because you need the money to do whatever it is you want to accomplish. So you have to be very specific of what you're trying to get out of your business, going back to this point. I'm telling you, if nothing else out of your business plan, that's the one. The money is not going to, I want more money. I'm telling you, I see it every year. I want more money. Okay. Okay. And you gotta really be specific. But here's the thing, you have to be specific. Okay. So I'll give you an example. Well, I really want the money because I've always just wanted to live in a really big house. Okay. Where? What size? Why do you want the bigger house? When do you want the bigger house? What are the features of the bigger house? Like you can't just say, I want the house. Well, I want more money to go live at the beach. Well, everybody wants to live at the beach. Why? What's the importance of that? And if you don't get it, will it bother you? Yeah, I'll give you another example. I had a situation a few years back with an agent. We're on a call and he's telling me that, I'm struggling getting to work every day. Just struggling getting to work every day. Okay. Well, let's talk about it. Why do you go to work every day? What's the reason for you to go to work every day? Well, I want a bigger house. Okay. Why? Well, it's my wife and our 2 kids and, I just want a bigger house. Okay. Well, let me ask you, do you own the house you're in right now? Yes. Got it. Okay. Do each of the kids have their own bedroom right now? Yes. Okay. So they each have their own bedroom. Got it. Okay. And would you move to a different city? No. We want to stay in the same city. Same school district? Same school district. Okay. Got it. And the house you have right now, if you didn't move from it, are the kids happy? The wife's happy? Yeah, they're all happy. Okay. You tell me you want the bigger house, but realistically, you don't need the bigger house. There's no motivation for you to have the bigger house. Do you go by the bigger house? Do you know specifically the neighborhood? Have you seen a picture of the bigger house? No, I don't drive by. I don't know that. Okay. So you have in your mind the superficial thought of, I want a bigger house, but then when you broke it down, there's no reason for you to go get it. You're perfectly happy in the house you have right now. So let's take the house out of it. What else would you want to do if you had the house? What would be the next goal? Well, you know what I really would like? I'd like it if my wife didn't have to work. She could work if she wants to, but right now we need her income. I'd like it if she didn't have to work and she could, raise the kids, because really right now the nanny raises the kids. That's what he said. I said, okay, well, how much does your wife make? So she makes $75,000 a year. Okay, cool. Well, what's your average commission? Now, at the time, his average commission was $11,000. I said, okay. So $11,000. So you need to close 7 deals to make up for her $75,000. Well, yeah. Okay. Now, let me ask you a question. What time does your wife get up? Well, she gets up at 5 a.m. and it's still dark out, right? Right. Do you get up at 5 a.m.? No. Okay. When your wife's alarm gets up at 5 a.m., it goes off and she has to get up at 5 a.m. and it's still dark out because she's got to get the kids ready and go to work. Doesn't that bother you that you're still laying in bed? Well, yeah, it does. There's your motivation. It's not the big house. It's you are annoyed that you're sleeping still because you're an independent contractor and your wife has to get up and go to work. Get off your ass and let's figure out a way to get you 7 deals. So if your wife doesn't want to work, she doesn't have to. And if she does, then you've doubled the income. The very next week, he's back at work doing prospecting. But we had to get past I want the bigger house. Now, for some case, it is the bigger house. Because if he had said, I need a bigger house because I live in a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house, and I've got twin boys that are going to kill themselves if they don't get their own room. Okay, you need a bigger house. Am I making sense here in terms of you have to be specific with what you want to do with the money? Because if you don't, and you just write the bigger house or this, whatever, it'll wear off. Now, here's the key point. You might not get it right the very first time you do your business plan. This is why it's a working document. Here's what I mean. You might write out the goal, and in your mind, this is the goal. This is what I want for my business. This is what I want to accomplish. This is what I'm going to exchange the money for. And 1 month later, you and I are having a conversation going, I can't get to work. Okay. You thought that was the goal. It really. So what's the next one in the list? That's perfectly normal. Okay. When I was a single man, my only goal in life was to have a yacht in Marina del Rey Harbor. That was it. I used to tell people all the time, if I got a yacht in Marina del Rey Harbor, I'll retire, work part-time to just pay for the fuel. That was it. And then I got married. I don't have any more goals. So they change.
Goals?
They change.
Oh, okay. That's different. No more or change?
Oh, yeah, no more goals at all. They just vanish. I was about to say.
They change.
I can relate.
So there you go. They change. You never know. So that's why it's a working document. So don't be frustrated or upset if your first goal you wrote there turns out to be not the one that's going to get you out of bed every day. It might take time. Might take time. Okay, but you have to but this is why I know I'm hammering this point. This is my last thought on this point, and then we'll move on. This is why you should take, that's why at the beginning of this phrase said, spend time thinking about, don't run through your business plan in 5 minutes and say, done. Take 15 minutes, take 20 minutes, really figure out what it is that you want to accomplish and how you're going to get there. Okay. That's the key. That's the key. All right. I wrote down here next, be patient with your plan. Be patient with your plan, especially if you're looking at a business plan from a 3 to 5 year business plan. Okay. So, I wrote down here, if 50 transactions today is going to be 100 plus transactions in a few years, if you're growing at 20% per year. If you want to close, I mentioned earlier, the person who, I'm not, and this isn't a real person, I was just using as an example, closed 2 deals in 2021 and says, I want to close 36 in 2022. Again, it's possible, but maybe 36 deals is going to be in 2023, 2024. But if you went from 2 to 10 to then 15 or 20 over the years, that would still do really, really well. And just because you don't go from 6 next year doesn't mean you're a failure and didn't work. You have to be patient. Okay. Now, in a yearly plan, you also have to be patient that it's going to take time to get the business closed. That's why I say you don't lower your business plan, your business goal. Well, transactions, and I'm halfway through the year and I've only got 8. Okay. Well, you're getting going. Okay. Be patient with it. Finish the year. Okay. All right, next point I wrote down here, only a couple more points. Work every day to remove any obstacles that could get in the way of building your business. Work every day to remove any obstacles that could get in the way of building your business. The reason you won't hit your goals is not because it's not possible to hit your goals. It's because the distractions are outweighing the motivation. So you have to work every day to remove the obstacles that get in the way of building your business. And the biggest distraction you have is the fact that you can't be fired. That's your biggest distraction. Because even if, we came to you and said, hey, look, we don't want your license with our brokerage anymore, you could just go to the real estate office next door and they'll be happy to hire you. You're pretty much unfireable unless the DRE takes your license away. BRE takes your license away. That's your biggest distraction, is that I don't have to go to work if I don't want to. I can show up when I want, I can leave when I want. So you have to work on the distractions. So I wrote this down here. It is very important. I said earlier, you have to share your goals with some accountability partners. More than your accountability partners. Very, very important to share your goals or your business plan with people that you love and care about, or people that are relying on you. So could be a spouse, could be a girlfriend, a boyfriend, kids, grandkids. Maybe your parents need some money, you're taking care of them. Maybe you have family, charities, things along those lines. I said the charities thing because I know an agent that did that they were very involved with their charity. Not a charity, charities would work too, but they were very involved with their church. And they promised to give their church a certain amount of money every quarter. And so they shared their business plan with their church. So the church knew, like, look, this is what I'm trying to accomplish, so I can give you the money. So if time came and they didn't have the check, make them feel pretty bad. But the reason that you share it with them is not to make yourself feel bad or anything like that, is because do most people think real estate agents have a real job? Do most people think you have a real job? No. No, they don't. So since they don't think you have a real job, they think they can just ask you to do whatever at any point. Hey, can you go pick up the dry cleaning? I'm kind of busy. Can you go pick it up? Well, it's 11 o'clock. I've got to do my prospecting. Yeah, you're fine. Can you leave early and go get this? You know what? Why don't you just take today off and let's go here? Because they don't think you have a real job, they'll give you tasks. If you share your business plan with them, that will then help them understand that, hey, look, I have a real job. This is my plan. This is what I want to accomplish. And in order for me to do this, I need you to leave me alone, just as if I was working a 9-to-5 bank job or whatever your hours may be. Now, if you have kids or a spouse, for example, you might have to explain it to them. What's the benefit to them? So you have kids. Hey, look, I understand you're trying to get my attention. I need you to really let me focus from these hours to these hours, because if you do that, here's the business plan. This is what I might be able to accomplish. And if I accomplish this, you'll be able to get this. Now, it could be something big or it could be a weekly thing. Hey, look, if you leave me alone, maybe don't say leave me alone. That sounds kind of harsh to a child. If you let me work from 9 to 12 every day this week, no distractions, so I can do my prospecting, Saturday, ice cream day, or whatever the case may be, right? I'm just giving you some sort of example. But you've got to let them know that you have a real job, which means you have to share this with them so they don't distract you. The distractions are why you're not going to hit the goals, not because it's not possible. Okay, not because the industry or the market or anything like that. All right, and then last point here. You should be reading your plan every day to keep yourself excited about your long-term goals. You should be reading your plan every day to keep yourself excited about your long-term goals. Every day you have to read your plan. It has to be in front of you all the time. Has anyone ever, other than myself, ever gotten up and gone to work simply because it was Tuesday and that's what you were supposed to do? Anyone ever do that? You just get up and go to work because that's what you're supposed to do that day? Happens to us. You have to get out of that routine by looking at your goals every day to remind yourself, this is why I'm going to work. Because as Zig Ziglar would say, if you're going to work tomorrow simply because that's what you did yesterday, you'll be no closer to the goals you want to accomplish. You have to look at your business plan every day. So you know you're excited. Is our job exciting every day? No. Some of you are like, it's not exciting any day. What are you talking about? It's not exciting ever. Okay. The only time it's exciting is when Cindy gives me a check. You know, between Cindy's checks, there's nothing exciting. But that's why this point, this is Mike Ferry 101. You have to read your goals to get excited. Okay. So you have to work on that every day. You have to look at it every day. And I'll leave you with this thought. Ron Cronin had said this. I never thought about this. I thought it was a wonderful point he brought up. Every morning, he would print out his business plan. Okay. At least the numbers version of it, right? Because sometimes the business plans are a lot of pages, right? You know, all these different things. He would print out a kind of a one-page version of his business plan. And he'd put it in his pocket, and all day long, as he was prospecting, as he was practicing, as he was previewing, as he was doing these things, he was constantly taking the plan out of his pocket and looking at it. So he's prospecting, he's standing up, he's prospecting, he's on the phone, and he's pulling the plan out of this, and he's looking at it to keep himself excited. And he said that he pulled his plan out of his pocket so many times that by the end of the day, every day, the paper was like wrinkled and crumbly. So he'd have to print out a new one every day because he was constantly in and out of his pocket, looking at his plan. That's what it's going to take sometimes. It is having that with you all the time. This is a job that can be very boring. That's why Mike talks about repetitious boredom all the time. It can be very boring. It can be very frustrating. It can be very lonely, this job. So if you're not really in tune with your business plan and it's not a realistic plan that gets you excited and you're not looking at it all the time, it's tough. It's tough. That's why by the end of the year, agents are toast because they've just exhausted all their effort and energy and there's nothing exciting keeping them going past July. Very, very important. So as we wrap up here, when you're putting together your business plan, take it, this is my last thought, take it seriously. If you're going to take your business seriously, you have to take your business plan seriously because when somebody does their business plan in 2 minutes, I can tell you right now, I'm like, you didn't take that seriously. There's no reason for me to even look at it. I'm just telling you, I'm being honest with you as a coach. You complete your business plan in 2 minutes, I'm not even going to look at it. Like it's unrealistic. You took no thought and energy into it, so I'm not going to take any thought and energy into looking at it either. Now, it doesn't mean you have to take a week. 15, 20 minutes, take some time, okay? Take it seriously, focus on it. And if you do that, that's how it's going to be a massive and fantastic 2022. Questions on anything I went over? Oh, all right, good. All right, everybody. Well, I appreciate you being here.